She never intended to send the letter until it was too late. This is the story of Alina Grace, a woman who built walls out of silence and lived to regret every brick. Alina hadn't spoken to her mother, in 5 years, not since the day after her father's funeral. The day she packed her suitcase with more anger than clothes and vowed never to return. Rosa, her mother, had said something small, something about how Alina should have been there more, while her father was dying. But it wasn't the words, it was the weight, the years of unspoken disappointment, the sting of always feeling like a failure in her mother's eyes, and the truth that Alina had been running from home long before she physically left. So she stayed gone. 5 birthdays, 5 Thanksgivings, and 5 Christmases, with unopened cards stacked at the bottom of a drawer she never opened. Alina didn't stop writing every time she felt a wave of guilt, anger, or longing. She wrote her mother a letter, 143 of them, to be exact. Letters. She never mailed. Some were one sentence. I miss you, but I don't know how to say it. Others were pages long, recounting memories from childhood or apologies written between tears. But the envelopes stayed unsealed, tucked away in a worn-out box beneath her bed. A part of her believed that if she ever forgave her mother, she'd know exactly which letter to send. But that day never came. Until the phone rang. It was a Sunday morning when her phone buzzed. She almost let it go to voicemail. Her Uncle Peter's name flashing on the screen, but something told her to answer. Alina. His voice cracked. Your mother. She's had a stroke. She's in critical condition. They're not sure she'll make it through the night. The line went silent, except for the sound of Alina's breath, shallow, disbelieving, and then the crashing realization of everything she never said. She ran to the box under her bed. Shaking hands fumbled through envelopes. She grabbed the very first one she ever wrote. She didn't read it. She just packed it. On the flight home, Alina sat between strangers while her entire world unraveled in her mind. She opened the envelope and read, Dear Mom, I hate how we left things. I know I never say it, but I hear your voice when I cook, when I pray, when I try to be strong. I'm afraid you'll never really know me, the grown-up me. The letter blurred as tears flooded her eyes. She pressed it to her lips, but even that felt too little, too late. By the time she reached the hospital, the monitors were silent. Rosa Grace had passed away 27 minutes earlier. Alina stood frozen at the door, watching a nurse pull the blanket over her mother's face. No final words, no goodbye, just the overwhelming ache of silence. And the letter, still folded in her hand. The nurse stepped forward. She left this for you. A small floral box. Inside, a journal. Her mother's journal.
The first entry was dated the day Alina left. She's gone. I told her something I shouldn't have. I always say the wrong thing when I'm afraid. I'm so afraid I've lost her. Page after page, Rosa had written to her daughter, birthday letters, prayers, regrets. One page read, She was my sunshine. Even when she stormed, she was light. I don't know how to reach her anymore. Another, I dreamt of her wedding, of meeting her children. I wonder if she dreams of me too. Alina clutched the book to her chest and wept harder than she had since the day her father died. because for the first time, she realized her mother hadn't shut her out. She just didn't know how to open up, just like Alina. At the funeral, the priest asked if anyone would like to say a few words. Alina walked to the front, trembling. She didn't read from her letter. She read from Rosa's journal. She was my sunshine. Silence filled the room, then tears, then a wave of release she'd never expected. Before the casket closed, Alina slipped the letter inside, the very first one she had written, the one that began with "Dear Mom" and ended with "Please forgive me." Months passed. Alina went home and did what she always did. She wrote, but this time she began a new book, The Unsent Letter, a memoir of forgiveness, silence, and the words that live on even after we're gone. It became a bestseller, not because it was perfect, but because every single reader saw a piece of themselves in it, a letter they never sent, a word they never spoke, a love they never fully showed. Sometimes the hardest thing to say is simply, "I'm sorry." Say it while you can, because one day, all you'll have left is a letter you can't deliver.
Forgive, call, write while you still can. Subscribe for more stories that heal, awaken, and inspire. Your support truly means the world to me, and I appreciate you more than words can say.